Hey everyone, and welcome to day 6 of our 50-day finance series. So today, we're going to move beyond just, stashing cash. We're actually going to start building your financial toolkit. And we're starting with the essentials, the really safe, predictable options that are perfect for when you're just starting out.
Okay, so you've landed that job, you're earning, and the money's starting to pile up in your savings account. And that feels great, doesn't it? But, and this is a big but, is it actually enough? The honest answer is no. Because here's the thing, inflation is silently chipping away at your hard-earned money. So just saving, that's not going to cut it. We need to figure out how to make that money work for you safely.
And the answer? Well, it's something called fixed income investing. I know, it sounds a bit jargony, but it's actually super simple. Think of it this way. You're basically loaning your money out to someone really reliable, like the government or a huge corporation. And in return, they promise to pay you back everything you loaned them, plus regular interest. It's really the perfect next step up from a savings account. It's way safer than jumping into the stock market, but it gives you much better returns than just letting your cash collect dust.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with your retirement toolkit, then meet the certainty crew. After that, we'll look at investing for a specific future goal, climb the corporate ladder a little, and finally, wrap it all up by talking about how to build your own personal kit. Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, your retirement toolkit. We're talking about the tools for the long haul here. Think NPES and EPFO. These aren't for making a quick buck. This is the serious stuff for building a solid future.
So first up is the Employer Provident Fund, or EPFO. Now, if you're a salaried employee, chances are this thing is already working for you in the background like magic. A little piece of your salary gets automatically taken out and invested for you. It's basically a forced savings plan, designed specifically for your retirement. You can think of it as your own personal automatic wealth builder, just quietly growing a nice big pot of money for your future. But what if you're not a salaried employee? Or what if you just want to supercharge your retirement savings? Well, that's where the National Pension System, or NPS, comes into play. Unlike EPFO, this one is totally voluntary and it's open to any Indian citizen. You choose to put money in, and the government gives you some pretty sweet tax benefits for doing it. The big thing to remember, though, is that just like EPFO, this money is locked away until you retire. That's on purpose. It makes sure you can't touch it, so it's definitely there for you when you actually need it.
So let's just break it down real simple. EPFO, that's the automatic, mandatory one for salaried employees. NPS, that's the voluntary one that anyone can use to save more and get tax breaks. But see that last row? The lock-in is the same for both. They both have one single-minded goal: protect that money for your retirement.
All right, on to Section 2, the certainty crew. Because, hey, retirement is important, but it's not the only thing you're saving for, right? This is for when you want predictable, guaranteed returns. And for that, we're looking at post office schemes.
Just look at that number, 7 to 8%. Let that sink in. In a world where everything feels so uncertain, getting a guaranteed return like this is, well, it's huge. And because it's backed by the government, you know it's safe. You know exactly what you'll get back. That's the kind of peace of mind that lets you sleep well at night, for sure.
And that phrase right there says it all. The slow and steady workhorse. That's exactly what these schemes are. Look, they're not flashy, they're not going to double your money in a year, but they are incredibly reliable. They just show up every single day and do their job, consistently growing your money without any drama. They're the absolute foundation of a safe financial plan.
Moving on to Section 3, investing for a future. You know, some tools in your kit are like a Swiss Army knife, but others are like a scalpel, designed for one very specific, very important job. The Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana is one of those special tools. It has one purpose and one purpose only: to help secure the financial future of a girl child.
And the way it works is just so straightforward. First, you open an account for a girl who is under 10 years old. Then you just make regular deposits. They don't have to be huge. And for doing that, you get a really high interest rate. And get this, it's completely tax-free. The money grows and grows, locked away safely until she turns 21, ready for her education or whatever she needs. It's just a fantastic way to build a solid foundation for her future.
Okay, Section 4, the corporate ladder. Ready to level up a little bit? So far, everything we've talked about is basically you lending money to the government. But guess what? You can also lend your money to big companies. And that brings us to a slightly more advanced tool in our kit: corporate bonds. So here's the deal, the fundamental trade-off you need to get. On one hand, you have government-backed stuff. It's the safest you can possibly get.
On the other hand, you've got company-backed bonds. Now, there's a tiny bit more risk here, right? A company could get into trouble. So to make it worth your while, they have to offer you higher returns, a better interest rate. It's the classic trade-off in finance. Higher risk, higher potential reward.
So you're probably thinking, how do I handle that extra risk? Well, that's where this comes in, the credit rating. Think of it like a report card for a company's financial health. Special agencies literally go in, check their finances, and give them a grade. A AAA rating, that's the best you can get. It's like a straight A+. It means the experts are super confident that this company can pay you back. So by sticking to bonds with these top-tier ratings, you can chase those higher returns without losing sleep over the risk.
And that brings us to our final section, building your financial kit. We've looked at a bunch of different tools today. The key thing to remember is that it's not about picking just one. It's about building a whole kit that's personalized for you and using the right tool for the right job. So let's do a super quick recap of the tools in your new kit. For long-term retirement, you've got EPFO and NPS. Need something super safe with guaranteed returns. That's post office schemes. Have that very specific goal of saving for a girl child's future? Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana is your answer. And when you're feeling ready to take on a little more risk for a little more return, that's where corporate bonds come in.
And there you have it. We've covered a lot, from the absolute safest government options to the slightly more advanced corporate ones. But, just knowing about these tools isn't enough. The real magic happens when you start using them. So, take a minute, think about your own financial goals, and then really ask yourself this question. Which of these tools are you going to add to your kit first?